Hey everyone! In this workshop, I will continue to introduce the last two stages of a game, the middle game and the end game. Now let's get to it. The middle game follows after the opening stage, usually starting with an attack or defense. Both sides hope to earn profit from the fights, and they often sacrifice some stones in exchange for larger profits. The middle game is also the most complex stage in which players often face many tricky issues and they need forward-looking strategies and accurate calculative abilities to make wise decisions. For example, those cutting techniques, invasion, and attacking techniques that I introduced earlier happen during the middle game. That is why the middle game is the most complicated stage. There are some accent records which can help us understand what the middle game is, and now I will show you some professional records. Right in front of you on the chessboard are the first 62 steps of a game, and now we can see that white has gained considerable territory. Here, 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 and here. Black has formed a very thick wall here which has potential territories, and it has two corners. This corner and this corner. So this is basically the end of an opening stage of a game, and now let's see the middle stage. Now black goes here to enlarge its own territory here, and white goes here to block the black at the same time developing its own territory. Now black goes here after a series of moves and flies. So by placing here, black is able to enlarge its own territory using the thick wall as an advantage. And now white goes here to try to invade into this territory. Black blocks and white continues to jump. So with those three stones, black thought that the territory is safe now, and it goes here to try to invade the white. However, white is able to invade through this jump. And now black continues to intend to block those three stones from those stones. So white wants to go here and making a diagonal move to try to cut those two stones. Black didn't respond to this part, but instead continues to separate those five stones from the rest. So white cuts. This is basically the start of a middle game, and we can see a fight coming because those stones are separated from those stones. If we see the opening and the middle game as a single large battle between those two armies, the end game is just like a number of smaller battles going on in different places simultaneously. For example, we can say that at the stage of an end game, players often fight for a few territorial points because in a close scenario, even 1 point is enough to shift the outcome. Playing well in the endgame may not only recover the losses of previous steps, but also enlarge our advantages as well. Now I will show you some examples of how to play an endgame with our opponents. Generally, the strategies of the endgame include senti, subtakes, and goat. A senti refers to a move which forces our opponent to respond. For example, in this scenario, we can see a partial endgame of senti. Black goes here, and white has to block him or her because if white doesn't respond, black will continue to invade into his territory. So white blocks here, and black sticks, and white has to stick too because if white doesn't stick, black will just check and eat this white stone, and therefore invading into its territory. So the step of black going here is a senti in the endgame. Now it's white's turn to step. It goes here, and black blocks and white sticks. So we can see that no matter white or black step first, it goes with the same method and the same steps, and white is also using a sante. So in this case, black has to block or stick here or making tiger mouth, because if black doesn't respond, white can also check this black stone and eat it, and therefore invading the territory, just like I said to you with the white's territory. Now we will look at a slightly different shape. You might discover that this black stone changes from this position to this position. So what difference does it make? It's still white's turn to step, and it still places here, and black blocks, white sticks. However, in this case, black doesn't need to stick here or go here because there is already a stone placing here. In this case, this white stone and this step is called a goat, which means that after blocking and sticking, black doesn't need to compensate or to go here to protect this stone, and it doesn't need to respond so that they can go to other places. After discussing the techniques of an endgame, we should determine the value of those techniques of the endgame. For example, in this scenario, we see that there are some territories for both black and white, and if now it's black's turn to step, it can go here just like we introduced, and black blocks and white sticks here. So in this case, that we can count the territorial points. For example, white is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 territorial points for white in this situation, and black is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are a total of 12 territorial points for black. This is the same scenario, but if now it's white's turn to step, it will go here, just like we introduced earlier, and black blocks, white sticks, and black sticks. In this case, we can also count the territorial points. White now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 points. And black now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It only has 10 territorial points. In the last scenario, black has 12 territorial points, whereas in this situation, it only has 10. And white has 9 territorial points in the last scenario. In this scenario, it has 11 points. So the total difference is 4 points, which is also the value of this subtake or this technique of the end game. Notice that this is a mutual subtake, which means that both territories will be influenced if black or white plays first. Up until this workshop, we've finished all the basic techniques of Go on the chessboard. We've gone through the definition of liberties, how to count liberties, different cutting and separation and escaping techniques, corner, side, center, and living and death groups, and finally 3 stages of a complete game. I believe that you've all had a very fundamental understanding of this intellectual sport. So in the second season of this series, I will continue to introduce the culture of Go, which is also an indispensable part of this amazing sport. If you're interested in my further videos, please subscribe my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!